The thing about being rich is you can afford to be eccentric and no one will laugh at you. And also, the thing about having lots of money to spend is that you can buy the most ridiculous thing at even more ridiculous prices and show it off. Welcome to our channel. Let's take a look at the top 10 most expensive items ever sold. Number 10. Badminton Cabinet. The Badminton Cabinet is a monumental piece of 18th century furniture that twice set the record for the most expensive piece of furniture ever sold. The Badminton Cabinet was commissioned in 1726 by Henry Somerset, the 3rd Duke of Beaufort, at the age of 19. It took 30 experts 6 years to make, and came to be named after the Duke's country seat, Badminton House in Gloucestershire, England, where it remained until it was auctioned by his descendants in the late 20th century. The ebony cabinet is 386 centimeters tall and 232.5 centimeters wide, and shows scenes rendered in pietra dura, inlaid finely cut, polished, and colored stones, including in this case several semi-precious stones. It was sold for $36 million to Dr. Johann Kraefner, director of the Liechtenstein Museum in Vienna. Number 9. Marie Antoinette's Pendant. Marie Antoinette could have fed the people of Revolution-era France a lot of cake with all the money her jewelry earned at a 2018 auction. According to Sotheby's, which hosted the auction at its Geneva outpost on Wednesday, the 10 pieces owned by the former French queen that were included in the collection sold for a collective $42.7 million. The 10 pieces included in the auction, part of a larger collection of items owned by the Bourbon-Parma family, found their way there by a somewhat circuitous route, according to the auction house. Number 8. Jimson Weed White Flower No. 1 by Georgia O'Keeffe. The most expensive work ever sold at auction by a female artist in 2014 was a Jimson Weed White Flower No. 1 by Georgia O'Keeffe. It was sold for $44 million in New York. Jimson Weed White Flower No. 1 depicts one of O'Keeffe's favorite subjects, a magnified flower. To her, the delicate blooms stood as some of the most overlooked pieces of naturally occurring beauty objects that the bustling contemporary world ignored. Number 7. 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO Berlinetta. It was built in April 1962 and is the most expensive car ever sold at auction as of 2021. It was crowned in the 1963-1964 editions of the mythical Targa Florio and was achieved with victory in the 1962 Italian GT Championship. With just 36 units manufactured between 1962 and 1964, the 250 GTO has become a racetrack icon and collectors' greatest desire, earning it the nickname Holy Grail. A 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO sold for $48.4 million and set the record for the most expensive car at auction. Number 6. Oppenheimer Blue Diamond. The Oppenheimer Blue is a 14.62 karat vivid blue diamond that in May 2016 became the most expensive jewel ever sold at auction, until April 2017 when it was surpassed by the Pink Star Diamond. The diamond was named for its previous owner Philip Oppenheimer, whose family had run the famous De Beers Diamond Company for years. It is cut into a rectangle. The Oppenheimer Blue is the largest fancy vivid blue diamond classified by the Gemological Institute of America ever sold at auction. It sold at Christie's in Geneva in May 2016 for $50.6 million. Number 5. Portrait of an Artist. Pool with Two Figures by David Hockney. British artist David Hockney had surpassed Jeff Koons in selling the world's most expensive artwork by a living artist. The achievement happened at a Christie auction in 2018. The record sale of $90 million of the painting by the British artist, Portrait of an Artist, Pool with Two Figures, surpassed the record of Jeff Koons, who in 2013 had sold one of his works for $58.4 million. Number 4. Rabbit by Jeff Koons. Rabbit is a 1986 series of 3 identical stainless steel sculptures by Jeff Koons. One of the editions of Rabbit is the most expensive work sold by a living artist at auction, being sold for $91.1 million in May 2019. According to AFP, Christie's did not want to reveal the identity of the mystery buyer, but indicated that collectors from around the world had positioned themselves on the work during the sale. Number 3. Giacometti's Pointing Man. Pointing Man, or Man Pointing, is a 1947 bronze sculpture by Alberto Giacometti that became the most expensive sculpture ever when it sold for $141.3 million on May 11, 2015. Giacometti made 6 casts of the work, plus 1 artist's proof. Pointing Man is in the collections of New York's Museum of Modern Art, London's Tate Gallery, and the Des Moines Art Center. One of the others is also in a museum, and the rest are in foundation collections or owned privately. Sold for $126 million or $141.3 million with fees in Christie's May 11, 2015 Looking Forward to the Past sale in New York, a record for a sculpture at auction. The work had been in Sheldon Solo's private collection for 45 years. Christie's called it a rare masterpiece and Giacometti's most iconic and evocative sculpture. Number 2. Les Femmes d'Algiers, version O by Pablo Picasso. Les Femmes d'Algiers, or Women of Algiers in English, is a series of 15 paintings and numerous drawings by the Spanish artist Pablo Picasso. The series, created in 1954 to 1955, was inspired by Eugène Delacroix's 1834 painting The Women of Algiers in Their Apartment. The series is one of several painted by Picasso in tribute to artists that he admired. The Women of Algiers by Pablo Picasso was the most expensive artwork ever sold at auction for $179 million in New York in 2015. The record was broken by Leonardo da Vinci's Salvatore Mundi in 2017. Number 1. Salvatore Mundi. Latin for Savior of the World, is a painting attributed in whole or in part to the Italian High Renaissance artist Leonardo da Vinci, dated 1499 to 1510. Long thought to be a copy of a lost original veiled with overpainting, it was rediscovered, restored, and included in a major exhibition of Leonardo's work in the National Gallery, London, in 2011 to 2012. Christie's claimed just after selling the work that most leading scholars consider it to be an original work by Leonardo, but this attribution has been disputed by other specialists, some of whom posit that he only contributed certain elements. Leonardo da Vinci's Salvatore Mundi was bought for the astronomical sum of $450 million by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, in New York in 2017, smashing the world record for the most expensive work ever sold. Thanks so much for watching.